that is I don't like about this DJI mobile app. About why? Because that some sort of notification came, it will stop recording, and whatever. From my perspective, is like storytelling or writing a script is kind of like a writer's idea, what he thinks and how amazing he thinks. It's completely depend upon his. Okay, but storytelling or story making or script making is kind of like a process, and you do realize the importance of that process. Okay, and what is the process and what is the things gonna happen and what should we talk about, we are talking about here right now. Okay, I didn't really complete the whole lecture, but once I found out, it's kind of like a really amazing to see those things, and it was really amazing for me. Okay, so there is a there is a really amazing things. Okay, right now we are just talking about writing. What is the writing exactly? There are the three type of writing when it comes to the filmmaking: script, screenplay, and teleplay. Script is the most general of these terms, and it is not reverse for any specific type of medium. Screenplay specially refers to the script of a film or television program. Teleplay is even more specific, and it is only used when referencing a television script. What is writing to you? Yeah, it's like writing is once I feel the writing is really amazing. Okay, it's like it's like years ago I'm writing a story about a guy who's meeting a girl with just kind of like a really short film story. Okay, once I write it, while I am writing, I kind of feels really amazing, feels really enthusiastic, because there is so many things we can talk, there is so many things I can understand, there are so many things like I feel in the creative way. While you're writing a story, you are kind of like into that world on that story. Okay, and you realize everything, you understand the story of every perspective, and that feels really amazing and really great. It was something really amazing. Okay, writing is art, trust me, and I'm really glad that I have such art. I don't say I have really great art about writing, no, but I can write. Yeah, that's what I'm that's why I can say that I can write, but it's like I didn't really know about how this process and how this process is kind of like done in every media, in YouTube or anything. It's like storytelling process. How is your storytelling process is kind of like a depend on how you present your story into the audience. Okay, but before that, having a script is really important. Okay, so there is a three type of writing. Okay, what is that? There is first is a teleplay. Okay, then there is a screenplay, and then there is a stage play. Okay, what is exactly teleplay, screenplay, and stage play? Okay, first of all, teleplay. Teleplay is a lesser used term for television script. The term used to commonly used when multi-camera shows were more common and network control much of television. With the blending of cinema, streaming, and TV, there are become much less of a need to differentiate this format. What is exactly a teleplay? Well, this defines is really complicated. I'm telling you what is exactly a teleplay. Teleplay means advertise. Yeah, because teleplay, yeah, you can see anything. It's just like you things like teleplay. It's kind of like a relates with the advertising media. whatever you write for this advertise, for this branding, for the promotion, for that branding, and you are creating some sort of story around that branding, that brand looks really cool or looks really amazing, and you are try to tell the importance of the branding in just 2 or 3 minutes. Sometime no, 2 or 3 it's kind of like a really huge. Sometime has to be 30 seconds or 1 minute. Okay, so how do you write this thing or how do you present this thing is kind of like a really important. So during this teleplay you do need to focus, because in the teleplay you have a really short amount of time to tell a proper story to the audience. Okay, and once you have really short amount of time, you are quickly focus on what is exactly you are trying to show the people, and that is the most important thing, is a brand. Okay, but how is the story is kind of like a relate with the brand, which is really also important. Okay, so but the reach of the teleplay was really huge, really amazing. Yes, because thousands people watch those advertise unintentionally, intentional not unintentionally, because advertise came just randomly. Yeah, okay, it came to the social media, it came to the YouTube, it came to the television, and you just watch. Okay, sometimes you watch, sometimes you skip. Okay, in television you don't have things for the skipping, but you can watch. Okay, so there is a really big importance while making a telefilm. You do need to realize that the particular thing what you want to suggest to the audience. Okay, and this is really good. Okay, most of the people are trying to do with this thing, because if you have a really real less time to tell the story to the audience, so at that time you are telling you need to be so creative. Okay, you need to tell multiple things, multiple stories at once, so you need to be really creative. So ad agency, and there are so much money on the ad. Okay, in ad agency also, because if I say is more than movie also. Yes, because of that the ad agency have a really big amount of reach and big amount of money involved on those things for this really short period of time of making this video. Okay, so telefilm is really kind of like a really short amount of dialogue which in it. Okay, mostly how is prefer, which is kind of like a depend on story. I'm not telling you which one have a dialogue, which one have a dialogue. Okay, but you do need to know about what is exactly telefilms is. Telefilms is kind of relates with the ad and things. Okay, then there is a screenplay. What is screenplay? Screenplay especially refers to the script of the film or television program. Screenplay or script is a written work by the screenwriter for a film, television or program or video games. These screenplay can be original work or adaptation of existing pieces of writing. It is a common ground that everybody on the film will work with the from start to finish of this production. It tells the complete story, contain all action in the film and all dialogue, each character. You do realize the word of the screenplay, and you know about exactly what I'm trying to say on the screenplay. Screenplay is really amazing. Okay, trust me. Okay, you do need to know about everything. What is exactly screenplay? Okay, screenplay is not an ad. Okay, it's kind of like a movie or kind of like a television or serial or just web series or a short film. So for the foundation it's called script. Okay, and the foundation, why I tell you is foundation, because in the end people will realize that besides we are talking about the telefilm is kind of like a be focus on the brand, okay, but in the film be focus on the script or story, because in the end people realize the story is really amazing. I'm gonna tell you a few more example of this film is kind of like Bajrangi Bhaijaan. Have you seen Bajrangi Bhaijaan? It's kind of like a really amazing movie, okay. In the end I realized that this movie is Salman Khan movies, I know that, but this is kind of like a really amazing movie for that particular person. He's trying to reach their parents for a little daughter, 9-year-old daughter. So it's the story is kind of like a really good, and the way that written the story, it was really amazing. It was really heart touching, and everyone loves that movie. I personally love this movie. Okay, so what is exactly a screenplay? Screenplay contains dialogue, some sort of locations and props and everything, okay, because you are telling a story. That means that story is kind of like a happens around that particular subject or particular thing, okay. So what is exactly around that? Around means kind of like how this guy is doing his work, okay. Like I'm gonna tell you that person is kind of like a spy. So how do you believe that person is spy? So you think like this spy is kind of like using really high-end weapon, or some sort of computer, or some sort of fighting techniques, okay. So and then we realize that that person is a spy. So it is really important to know that that person is a spy, okay. So having a introduction, but person is not giving his introduction by himself, because it's not an interview, it's a film, okay. So we have an audience to understand that this is the guy is kind of like a spy or some sort of, right. So we are telling a story to his perspective and to his surrounding, that we feel that the stories exactly happen to us, okay. So it's really great way to tell a story, okay, and it's really amazing and it's really popular, and it's something really great, okay. People loves movie, people watch movies, okay, web series and everything, okay. So it includes an usually screenplay, usually written by the screenwriter, sometimes director, because director is the only guy who understands the script, and it has to be understand the script, because if he didn't really understand the script, then how he present to the audience. So importance of the director is to know about that particular script, okay. So sometimes director is also a writer, and he write the story and then he directing, okay. So there are most of the writer or director who written their story, okay. And there are so many things, so many work happened on that script, like once you written the script and present to the producer like it, and then it will differentiate to the piece of location, pieces of things that happened in the past, particular future, or we are breaking down the script to its particular things happen, that how can I shoot, okay. So that is called story breakdown or script breakdown, okay. And script breakdown has to be happen, script breakdown is done by the director, okay. Because script breakdown is really essential, because you are telling the story, that what camera you are using, what lens you are using, what the camera angle you are using, what the character he need to be dressed, okay, what is his dialogue, and what kind of, it's kind of like a really so many things include while after you are complete your script. You do need to understand that you are making a storyboard, or story breakdown or script breakdown also, because most of the people done that, and it is really essential while filming. You do need to realize that the importance of that story breakdown. Okay, because no one will realize the story, because you are working with the whole crew and whole production, and you cannot guarantee that everyone has understanding that particular script. No. So we are kind of like giving a proper direction to the what kind of things we need to shoot today, tomorrow, and that particular day, and that particular location, and that particular character is available or not. So for those things we do need a script breakdown. Okay, so screenplay is really essential, and it is actually in the then there is a stage play. What is exactly a stage play? A play is work of drama, usually consisting mostly of dialogue between the character, intended for the theatrical performance rather than just reading. The writer of the play is a playwright. Plays primarily focus on what you hear, while film tell a story by what you see. Stage play is a great grandfather of all these formats, since live performance of script drama has been a part of almost every culture since the dawn of recording history. You do realize the single word that I'm just telling you is stage play. Stage play is kind of like a belongs to the some sort of story has to be present in front of audience, in front on the stage. That is called stage play, or theoretical play, theater play usually. It's kind of like a something really different than screenplay. Yes, why? Because of that, screenplay is the word is came from the play is kind of like a you are writing, that is called play. Okay, screen is for that is a screen, computer is a screen, theater is a screen. Okay, so story is present through the screen, that is called screenplay. The story is present on the stage, that is called stage play. Okay, and then teleplay is kind of like an ad, so it's we're not talking about ad. Okay, so you do need to realize that screenplay, that means screen, that story is elaborate through that some sort of screen, and stage play is kind of like the story is tell on the stage, that is called stage play. And mostly today's world, stage play is kind of like a really art, but this art is kind of like a vanishing, that actually didn't really people don't really like the stage play. Because of that, stage play is kind of like a natak or something. Okay, but you it's so many things, like a stage play has to be happen really on the time. Character has to be, you cannot do mistakes, you need to be complete focus, because audience is watching you in front of you. Okay, and they are applause you. So stage play is kind of like a really difficult, because but it is really popular on 40 or 50 years ago. Okay, it's just like, or should I say 50 years ago. Before that, people are entertained by the stage play, and on those days, stage play is kind of like a being really popular. Everyone loves stage play, and they are meant to be really amazing, and people love, and there are so many things happen on the stage play. Stage play is kind of like a one man show. Okay, one man show is one time show. Okay, that everything happen on that particular time, so time is really precise. Everyone practice that, props, costumes, character, which they are need to be very precise. They do not mistake on that stage, because on the screen you can make a mistake, and then you can edit, and then you can elaborate those things. but on the stage you cannot mistake. You do need to realize what is your dialogue and what you need to tell. Okay. And there is one thing is that stage play is kind of like the actor or character or artist is telling a story through the dialogue. Okay, because there is no voiceover, there is no b-roll. Okay, so every time character is telling a story. Okay, so he is telling a story very loud. Okay, because of that why loud? Because of that stage play has to be mentioned for the audience, and audience has to be listen what the character is telling. Okay, yeah, mic is also available, but it's kind of like really far away. You cannot put boom mic or lava mic on that thing. No. So stage play, on the stage play is a character is telling things with a really loud voice. Okay, so why people don't like stage play in today's world? Because of that stage play has some sort of limitation. What is that? Stage play has to be depend upon the character's dialogue. That is the only way to telling your story or your that watching is kind of like really good. Okay, because once you distracted from that particular character, you cannot put back on that stage play, because it's kind of like a really hard to do that. Because once you are watching the stage play, you are kind of like a distracting with so many people, so many things. Okay, so and sometimes sound is not clear, and some sort of artist make a mistakes, or you cannot see it properly because you are kind of like a really far away. Front row seat, or kind of like a people who knows and they love the show, but on the back seat, the people don't really saw the particular character face. So in the beginning, it's kind of like a 50 or 60 years ago or 100 years ago, they don't have a choice for screenplay, because at that time screen is not invented. Okay, so people used to entertain by the stage play. Okay, and it's kind of like a really art, and it's really amazing. Okay, but today's world it's not gonna happen. Okay, so it's kind of like a really things. Okay, so but it's kind of like a really amazing. Yes, some people doing things right now today's also, but they are kind of like a big reach, and because of that stage play has a limitation of the particular people, like how many people are watching the display. Okay, so you have a capacity of 500 people, that is okay, but more than that you cannot. Yeah, so it's a limitation. Okay, so and actor and actress and character who are involved on that stage play, they have to perform separately on each location for the particular audience. Okay, so it's also been really hectic for those things also. मी ॲक्च्युली हे करून घेतो पॉज, बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट की समजा जर कोणाचा फोन आला तर माझी रेकॉर्डिंग हे चालली जाईल. ओके, so it's been really amazing, it's been really great to have that particular stage play. Okay, and people loves that. Okay, but today's world they are not. Then there is another thing we are talking about, the narrative. What is narrative? Narrative is a way of presenting connected event in order to tell a good story. Whether it is narrative easily, a biography or novel, a narrative units distinct event by concept, idea and plot. Common type of narrative is commonly contained by beginner, middle and end. What is exactly a narrative? Narrative means how you present your story to the audience, that is called narrative. Ata how means what camera you use and what is the camera, no, that is not, that is part of the script breakdown. how you present means what is your story is kind of like a middle, end, or start, and how do you mess with this thing, how you people will engage with the proper story, and they feel really interested while watching every time continuously. So it is really essential to build a proper story with a particular narrative. Okay, because narration is really great. Okay, because you cannot feel the particular movie when you are watching this movie from the middle. Okay, because you cannot understand what is exactly happened earlier, you don't know. Okay, so it just like story has a particular narrative, like start, middle, end, or middle, start, end, or end, start, middle. So it is all those things has to be understood by the narration technique. Okay, what is narration technique? I'm gonna tell you what these things has to be involved while you presenting a story and what kind of things do you need. Okay, narrative is kind of like a really amazing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you after that what is exactly narrative. I'm gonna move to the next point. Is kind of like a pitch. What is exactly a pitch? Pitch is a summary of the narrative. It is considering what is a great and engaging about a story is in few words as possible. Pitches are designed to get people excited and pumped up about the prospect of the movie. In short, pitch is usually presented to the people willing to invest in movies, etc. What is exactly a pitch? Pitch means it's kind of like a pitching the proper subject to the proper narrative to this person, which will gives you really confident to the invest money on your production or story. It's kind of like a really telling a summary about your story. So that is called pitch. Okay, but there are so many concepts while pitching. You do need to ready your pitching for 2 minutes or 15 minutes. Okay, and there is after that you do need to set a particular thing like there is some sort of things happen while you watching, like you are excited about the telling the story what is exactly happened to the next. Okay, so you are creating that emotions while you listening the pitch is kind of like a really successful pitch. Okay, so pitching is really also really important because you don't have a money, and how do you tell your story to the producer, so and in a really short amount of time, that is called pitch, and also that is called the summary of your story. So yeah, then there is a fund the production. What is exactly fund? Creating a narrative structure, narrative film are these that tell a story. Each part of narrative film serve the purpose of moving the story forward. Think of your favorite book. The narrative of the film is not far removed from this, but sound, visual, and movement all play part, and telling a story too also refers to a storyline as plot line. Describe a famous work, how one tell a story. Fund the production, creating narrative structure. Narrative structure is kind of like a really similar term like narrative and narrative structure. Its narrative is like how you tell your story. Narrative structure is what kind of structure you are using for this proper film. So that is most important. And what is a structure? I'm gonna tell you is that there are some sort of things you need to mention. Okay, what is called first is linear and chronological. Then there is a non-linear and fictional. Then there is a circular. Then there is a parallel, and then there is a interchangeable. So what is things like linear and chronological? When the author tell a story in chronological order, the structure can be include flashback, but most of the narrative is told in order that is occur. Most of the book tends to tell under this narrative structure. Linear or chronological order, that means you are telling a story by things happen normally, like start, middle and end. Okay, so that is called chronological order. Okay, and mostly people use what is example is Bajrangi Bhaijaan. Yes, it's that movie is belongs to that belongs to in that narrative films. So it's called linear and chronological order. Then there is a non-linear and fractional. What is exactly non-linear and fractional? Non-linear structure tell a story out of chronological order, jumping and disjoining through the timeline. David Mitchell, Cloud Atlas is example of the narrative structure. Is a switches between the multiple characters, different point at time. What is a non-linear and fractional? Non-linear is kind of like you are telling a story with non-linear way. I'm telling you the example is what kind of movie is non-linear and you are jumping from the particular period of time and you don't know what is exactly happened. There are less movies made by that narrative structure because it's kind of like being really complicated. But Mr. Nobody, okay, Mr. Nobody is kind of like the movie is belongs to the like a single character which is available in different timeline. Once he have a child, once he have younger, once he have older, what kind of things happens with him, and we don't really understand this guy is this guy. So in the end we are connecting the dots from one to end and then we are kind of like a finalized, but while starting it's kind of like a being really bored. But once you watch the complete movie you feel really amazing and enthusiastic. So non-linear and frictional is really amazing to tell a story. Okay, but there are very less story has to be made for this. So yeah. Then there is a circular. What is exactly circular? In the narrative structure, in the circular narrative, the story ends where it began. Although the starting and beginning point are same, the character undergoes a transformation affected by the story events. S.C. Hunter, The Outside is an example of circular and narrative structure. What is exactly a circular? Circular means a story ends where it starts. Okay, and you don't realize what is exactly happened. Example is, have you watched Tenet? Okay, Tenet is a movie of the Christopher Nolan, and that is a really best example for this circular. Circular that you will realize that the movie is kind of like goes straight, goes circular. You can feel where it starts, where it begins, where it ends. Okay, so it's kind of like a really amazing, and it's kind of like a bending a story to the proper way that people don't really bore, but people don't really excited about this thing. And once you watch the complete movie, you feel really amazing. Then there is a parallel. What is a parallel? In the parallel structure, the story follows the multiple storylines which are tied together through the event, character, or the theme. Have you watched a movie called New Year Eve? New Year Eve is the best example for this parallel story. Parallel story is like you are including multiple story at single story, but they are not connected to each other because they are connected with the event or some sort of theme or some sort of like. New Year Eve is kind of like a multiple people, like this guy is telling a speech to the New Year Eve. Then there is so many things, so many people. You do need to watch that movie. There are so many people, so many character was there, and they are kind of like a story happens. What is exactly happens to that particular New Year Eve? So parallel story is really great for this comedy. Okay. But once you have a creative, you can use this thing and a very different perspective you can use in really serious movies also. So yes. Then there is interactive. Interactive means the reader make a choice throughout the interactive narration, leading a new option, alternating ending. These stories are most prominent. Choose your own adventure book. I don't really understand the interactive, but yeah. There is also another thing is author don't really mention is that repetitive. Yeah, Repetitive means a story things happen repeated again and again. It's kind of like a really good to watch and really funny, but once you watch you feel really excited about everything. Age of Tomorrow, okay, that is a really best example of Tom Cruise movies. He die every day, and once he die he feels really excited, and we feels really excited to what to watch because he dies continuously and again and again. So we are I am kind of like understanding this thing, and I feel really great. I feel really something that I knew that thing is really amazing for me, for my career, and it will really help me a lot. I think before I was understanding presenting is kind of like what camera you use and everything, but it's not. Presenting means how you tell your story, what use a narration technique is kind of like a circular, parallel, interchangeable, repetitive. It's is those things that people don't get really bored and people get really excited about your movie. Okay, so once I watch this movie, that technique, I feel really good and I feel really amazing. Lesson is not over yet. Yeah, there are so many things need to cover up, but once I understand those things, I feel really great. I feel really amazing, and I feel really educated by myself. So yes, so that is today's. Okay, I also complete the lesson today, but I don't think I have time. But I will try to do that because I have to attend the one man's. It's kind of like a friend's things to do, some sort of work, and we have to be decoration for his Bhachi's Namkaran. Okay, what is exactly Namkaran? I don't know. I don't have words for that. But I will try. Okay. Also, I am editing things. So editing Pune's video, Pune to Sinagad, and right now I am stabilizing things. So it's okay. So right now everything is good, is fine. Okay. So this is and how is my English? I feel really good while talking in English. So it's really great and amazing. So this is the end. Thank you.